All right, so I'm finally gonna play with my car a little bit. I've been driving it around on a stock tranny for a little while. Um, so I'm gonna get this other tranny in here so I don't break my spare tranny. I did get my my fourth gear from MTM, close gear. I don't know, probably over a week ago now. I did post it on Instagram. Anyway, it's here. So this is my Transit. It's got the straight cut third in it. I'm gonna open it up and swap this thing out and see what the carnage looks like. So I'm gonna get going on that. I've done this before, so I'm not gonna go crazy showing you too much. I'll just show you real quick, and maybe I'll do a time lapse. I'll just speed it up real fast. But to split this case, you got to take this Allen right here out. All right, take that out, and then ooh, and then all these 12 millimeters that go around, all the way around, and then behind this plug, there's a snap ring. And once you have that snap ring off, that snap ring is the hardest part to get off if you don't have the right tools. Once you get that out, the thing just slides apart. So I'll show you, and then we'll see what the carnage looks like in this thing, and we'll go from there. But I'm gonna get it pulled apart. You already know I got my wobbly table out. Everybody loves the wobble table. I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about with a snap ring. So, you can, I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a snap ring right there that's on that bearing. That snap ring's got to be opened up. There's a little groove. You open that snap ring up, and then that thing will come apart. But when you do it, you got to kind of open it up and open the case at the same time. So you'll see me fight with it a little bit, but it comes apart. Just got to play with it. Alright, so friend came by, I had to weld a header up for him. So anyway, I got this thing apart. Let's see. I'll show you the carnage. Looks like baby mama's home too. Alright. You see we got a nice pile of junk in there. And fourth gear is trashed. Got this. Alright, get this thing apart. We'll throw this MTM gear in there. Let's do it. Gotta clean this thing out because there's shavings everywhere. I had to fight it a little bit. It had a bunch of shavings stuck in the bearing housing for the diff, and it didn't want to come apart. I had to really fight it. Alright, so then anyway, once you get that far, like I said, I've done this before, but I'll show you again anyway. Once you get that far, get it to here. You gotta take this nut here out. So you can see right there, that's for the shift forks. You pull that out, and then there's 2 10s right here. Take those 2 10s and reverse gear out. And then you're good to go. You can pull that whole assembly out as one. So I'll show you that real quick. you go. Pull the whole thing off, pull your shift forks off, pull them to the side. Hey Bubba, and your diff comes out. Oh, I did end up messing up my diff. I don't know if you can see that or not, but one of my spider gears is broken, probably from chunks flying around in there. Nope, two spider gear on both of them. Yeah, buddy. Alright, so I got 2 spider gears busted, so gonna have to fix that as well. Alright. And there's your destroyed 4th gear. Pretty beat up, I'd say. So, alright, get that new gear out of the package. Take a good look at it, and then throw it on. This is a direct replacement 4th gear. It is, so I had this gear custom made. It is just a tiny bit shorter than stock. I can't remember what stock is. It's like 0.909 or something like that. Now this is a 0.925, so it's just a little bit shorter than the stock, but not much. I just did that just to kind of close the gap between 3rd and 4th just a little bit, because the gearing on single cams is not very close. So just figured I'd do that. And I only went as short as I did because I still wanted to have enough gear for the mile an hour that I wanted to be doing. So wanted to make sure I still had enough gear in 4th, because I did not want to be throwing 5th gear at the track. Now also, when you're tightening this up, you can't just bang it on with a gun. It does have a torque spec, but even when you torque it to spec, you got to be careful. If you over tighten this, it clamps the synchros down, and then the synchros don't spin freely. So if you do that and then that happens, it won't go in gear. So let me show you what I'm talking about. After you tighten these up, tighten this nut up. The synchros here, you can see the brass synchros. You can see them both there. So they need to move freely, which it's hard to get my finger in there, but they need to move like this. See how they'll move back and forth? They move back and forth a little bit like that. They need to be able to do that even after that nut is tight. If they don't, it's too tight. So even if you torque it to spec, I've noticed I've torqued it to spec and then I've had to loosen them up. So you just got to be careful what you're doing when you're doing it. So I just hit them with the gun. I actually have the metal dented on the nut where it was. I try to get it close to there. I put it there and it's fine, then I leave it. So that's right where it was before. So I'll see if these things still move freely. They do. So I'll leave it right there. And then I'll make sure I re-dent my nut. them back together. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so I need to pull this stuff back out of here. I need to clean the case up real good, just to get all the debris out of there. And then I do need to do something with that differential, which I have a pile of them over in my graveyard over here. So, oh, my hands are all greasy. I'll show you my graveyard real fast. So, here's my graveyard. And I've thrown away quite a few over the years too. So that's a 92 to 95 trans with a blown third gear. That one back there is a 96 to 2000 with a blown gear, third gear. That's another 92 to 95 with a blown third gear. This is my old block, which is a D15B7. I ended up having to, you see all the goop on the front here, I ended up having to weld the whole front of the block. And I first put this thing together, I was driving it and got home one day and parked it in the garage, and it went click, and I looked over and I heard water dripping, and the whole front of the block just cracked, just sitting. It wasn't doing anything funky, nothing, it just cracked. So it just had a defect or whatever in the block. But this block is Vitara pilled. It's got Crowler rods, which back when this was done was the only D15 option, and they're very expensive. They're like $700 or something silly. And then it's got a $100 set of pistons on it. But anyway, that block on 26 pounds and a 5031 turbo, which is my old turbo sitting over here. A 5031 Precision. It's a 63 back housing, and then, you know, a little baby wheel. On that turbo on 26 pounds and E85, it made 413,330. If you look back at some of my old videos, you'll see that motor running. But anyway, so I'm gonna clean this up real quick. I'll grab another diff probably out of one of my other other trannies, and then just throw it in. And then we'll go from there, and we'll get this thing back together. But give me a few minutes to clean this thing up. I'm sure you don't want to watch me do that. Alright, so got it all cleaned up. Got all the shavings out, cleaned up my magnet. Yeah, magnet's nice and clean. Cleaned out all my bearings and whatnot. And then cleaned up my mating surface so I can seal it. If you're ever doing this, the back here, this little plastic deal is a big C-clip, and then behind that plastic thing, that you always get a bunch of debris that gets stuck back there. So if you ever are doing one of these, pull that piece out and get all those chunks out of there. But anyway, cleaned up both those surfaces, and I opened up one of my other trannies real fast and found a good diff. So this one doesn't have any broken spider gears. So we'll throw that one in and throw that one in the junk pile. Yeah. Alright, so let's start slapping this thing back together. Alright. All right. All right. Now that's in place, we can get this thing lined up. Alright, so anyway, put that one bolt back in. Obviously, line it up. Your shift fork's got to be in line so you can get it. Then you can slide this shift selector over here back on. And then pop your reverse gear back in place. And then before you go any further than that, you need to make sure that everything works. So. Don't start going crazy just yet. Alright, we're all back together, and like I said, you gotta check it before you move on. So I'll show you real quick, and this will at least show you too how it works. So let's see, that's neutral there. So that's first gear. Second gear. Third gear. Fourth gear. Fifth gear. Fifth. Let's see if we can get it in reverse. Reverse is a little more difficult to get into normally, but that's not it. That's fourth. There we go, and there's reverse. There you go. She's ready to go. So I'm gonna get this surface all gooped up with some Honda Bond, and then we'll slide it back together. All right, so there you go, nice light coat of Honda Bond on there, and then just drop your cover back on, and then you got to get that clip that you had to fight out and get it back in. Yeah, Lincoln. Alright, so to get this clip back in, I like to get all these screws that we started, get them down a little bit. And then once it's down, then you tip the tranny over and hold that ring, and then you can get it to go on. It's a little bit of a fight, but normally not too bad. You tilt it over like this, and then play with this ring. It's normally easier to get it to fall into place. I'm working on my car, buddy. Alright, and then just like that, we've just about got it in place. There it goes. So you can see that snap ring. It's hard to tell, but it's snapped around that bearing again. And sometimes it's a pain to get in, but if you tilt it on the side like I just did, it goes together pretty good. And then go ahead and set this all down because that Honda Bond dries pretty quickly. And then just snug them up. Yeah, Lincoln. Yeah, he's over on the side yard. He's doing his own thing. So they're all snug. You put everything else back together and you're done. That. Gotta put this plug back in. And this one that's what I use to fill. When I fill it up, I fill it up through this vent hole right here, this vent tube. And then when it comes out of here, I know it's full. But I just put that back in by hand, so it's I don't lose it. And that's it. The only other one is this inside out right here. That's a wrap. Back together like new. So I probably won't throw this in now. I'll probably do it sometime next week. I might go to the track tonight like I was saying, so I'll just put this in later. I'll probably just throw it over here to the side and like I said, throw it in next week. And then once I do, I'll make a video of just driving around, how she feels. Like I said, this gear is just a tiny bit shorter than the factory fourth. I honestly probably won't even notice it, but just a little bit. I see, you are so tall. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll see. Once I do that, I'll probably try to get some more track stuff in. I'm also, I just got off the phone with ARP a few minutes ago. I should call them about getting some L19s made for a single cam. Nobody makes them right now. They said that they could, but it would be about $1,500 for a set of those L19s. So I won't be doing that. So I may end up trying something else. I was thinking about using B series L19s and just drilling the block and putting time certs in it, but we'll see. I may just run with it the way it is, but I really wanted to send it, so I was gonna grab a thinner head gasket, get a light bump in compression, and then JE Pro Seal head gasket, and as long as it's all good where it's at, I was gonna just turn it up and see what it'll do. I was thinking, I've already seen 35 pounds, but maybe 40, 45, whatever the turbo makes, I don't know. But we'll see. I've never cracked a block, with the exception of the one that I showed you earlier that it didn't crack a sleeve, it just, the actual casting failed. I'm not sure why or what, but I've never actually cracked a sleeve, so I'll push it till I do, and then I'll find out what that limit is. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll get some more stuff out here soon. Thanks.